Electric vehicles, more commonly referred to as EVs, are no longer things we've only heard about. These days, EVs can be seen regularly around all major cities. But is it time to start worrying about chucking our favorite gas-guzzling cars in favor of these new high-tech vehicles? Let's find out. You're watching Connected. The biggest hurdle to purchasing EVs has been cost. Only the well-off could afford to buy them. But the price of EVs has dropped considerably in the recent years as more EVs hit the streets and interest around them grows. EVs still only make up a very small percentage of the total automotive market today, but sales data has consistently outperformed quarterly estimates this past year, which is why many believe we have approached a tipping point in what others are calling the electric vehicle revolution. Couple the passing of President Joe Biden's infrastructure bill recently with the declining cost of batteries, and shoppers can start putting old concerns to rest, such as, will there be electric charging stations wherever I go? Or, can our electric grids even handle the demands full implementation of EVs bring? The bill will open up $7.5 billion of electric vehicle charging stations and $65 billion for upgrades to the nation's electric grid. The current selection of EVs already on the markets are sleek, energy efficient, and appealing to tech and automotive enthusiasts, as well as shoppers looking to implement zero-emission solutions now. It's definitely worth getting excited about, right? But how quickly is this going to happen? Should we start getting rid of our current gas-powered vehicles now? Not quite yet, unless of course you want to. But let's take a look at what car makers are planning in terms of moving to an all-electric lineup. Ford plans to offer a 100% emissions-free passenger vehicle lineup in Europe by 2030. The company appears to be planning a different strategy in the US, with its offering of an electric SUV, the Mustang Mach-E, and an electric version of its commercial transit van. This spring, Ford plans to introduce the F-150 Lightning, an electric version of its popular F-150 pickup. Ford says that global sales of its luxury brand, Lincoln, will electrify the entire lineup of vehicles by 2030. GM, the largest automaker in the US, says it hopes to have an all-EV lineup by 2035 and be carbon neutral by 2040. Choosing to bypass hybrids or plug-in hybrids, GM recently introduced a redesigned Bolt and the Bolt EUV, which is clearly SUV inspired for that sector. 2021 saw 19 EVs offered for sale in the US in the first half alone, with more announcements already promising more options for 2022. Internationally, automakers are introducing EVs and setting goal dates for when they will stop developing internal combustion engines and move to an all-electric lineup. So at this point, we have to accept that EVs are our future, and that the future is closer now than most of us anticipated. That gas-powered cars or trucks we buy now will depreciate in value more quickly than in the past. But that doesn't mean they will all come to an end. Alec of Team Connected Las Vegas spent the last few days at the Specialty Equipment Market Association, or SEMA show, and what he found can give us hope, at least for our most beloved classics. Take a look.
It's the place to be for auto enthusiasts around the world, where shoppers might go to a dealership to look for a brand new or used vehicle. Attendees of the Specialty Equipment Market Association show, or SEMA, head out to Las Vegas every year to find or showcase the latest accessories, gadgets, and aftermarket parts they can use to rebuild, personalize, or upgrade vehicles of today. Manufacturers don't just bring their products, but instead showcase them by having the products installed on show floor vehicles so jobbers, hobbyists, and industry professionals can see how the products function in real-life situations. This year, the show highlighted vehicle electrification solutions that could be seen on the show floor as startups and automakers race to get their products to market in this first wave of what many believe is the electric vehicle revolution. From SEMA Show 2021, Alec, Team Connected, Las Vegas.
Special surprise, Alec is joining us via Zoom to talk about his experience this past week. Alec, thank you so much for joining us, man. It's so great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us about what got you interested in this, and how long have you been going to this event?
I've been going to it for quite a few years now. Living here in Las Vegas, you just get to walk around and see all the cars, especially the feature vehicles that are just outside. And so just being able to walk around and see different types of vehicles, from off-roading to street racing, you have your drift cars, electric vehicles. It's pretty cool to see what everyone's vision is when they showcase their vehicle.
That's so cool. So give us kind of an idea of how big is this event? How many cars are there? How many people are there? And what's the size of the capacity of everyone there?
So this year, with the new addition of the West Hall, it was massive. There's just a lot of things to see, and you can spend hours in one hall. I mean, with COVID this year, there wasn't a lot, but there was still a ton of people.
Awesome. What are some of the cooler things that you got to see there that maybe not people like myself or other people that aren't able to get a chance to see? What's something that you were able to experience there?
One of the cooler things I did see this year was the Hoonigan show. Hoonigan is a clothing brand for automotive enthusiasts. It was also founded by Ken Block. He's a racer. And what they do is they build these vehicles and they kind of destroy them. They do things to their vehicles that it's not intended to. So they're doing burnouts, they're drifting in small, tight places, and they're just taking the vehicle to its very limits. So
and they do this in the convention center?
Yeah, so they do it outside in a small parking lot.
What are some things that you were able to kind of gather from these companies about stuff within the car industry, the automotive industry, that are coming down the pipeline that we can expect in the near future?
In regards to different type of like electric vehicles, hybrid vehicles, there's a couple companies out there, as well as manufacturers, that were showcasing their all electric vehicle lineups. For example, Jeep, it's called a 4xe. It's a 4x electric. So there are still 4x4s, but it's all electric. GMC has their new Hummer that's coming out. It's also all electric. There's a lot of things with electric cars. One of the cooler things that I did see was a company called Electric GT. So they convert classic vehicles into electric vehicles.
Wow, that's super cool. Take us through that process of the conversion of classic cars into electric vehicles.
With your gas vehicles, there's hundreds and thousands of moving parts, and so what they do is they just gut all of that out of the vehicle, and they're pretty much replacing it with 4 parts. So you have the motor, the drivetrain, and maybe the battery. It is still pretty expensive to convert a vehicle. So it's like you're buying a brand new vehicle or even more. But with Electric GT, you have that classic vehicle making it last a lot longer.
Awesome. But I guess it's just not for people trying to buy cars on a budget, I guess. Cool. Well, that's so awesome, man. Thank you, Alec. I appreciate all the insight as far as SEMA is concerned, and it seems like such an awesome event, and I'm so glad that you were able to attend.
Thanks. Thank you.
It's an exciting time to be shopping for an EV, even if it might take a while to afford the one you want. Thanks for joining in. You can stay connected to us online at eaglenewslive.com and through our social media portals. Leave a comment or like and share if you can. Subscribe now, and I'll see you back here soon.